On June 14th, 2025, across the entire United States, people gathered in their cities for the No Kings protest, a demonstration fueled by frustration, passion, and a demand for change. Today, I covered the press here in Orlando, and I thought I would share that experience with you all today.
Was this for the camera? So I'm just out here, making sure people don't get a heat stroke. So that's fair. That's our main objective.
I think it's beautiful that this many people care about something this much.
Now, to be honest, I've never felt strongly about protesting in the streets. I understand it's a core part of our democracy, but I've always had a pessimistic view of large protests, probably influenced by my strong aversion to large crowds. However, I do love open discussions and being able to criticize our government, but in much smaller, more intimate settings. It's just, in my experience, the bigger the group, the easier it is for things to escalate or get out of hand. But covering protests, I really can't help but feel a little inspired by all the people united with such passion to come together like this. It really can give you this feeling like anything is possible. I got to speak with quite a few people, and a common theme kept showing up that I could relate to. It was about this feeling of loss. A loss of security and a strong sense of uncertainty for the future. I mean, how can you not feel that way? Regardless of what political spectrum you fall under, it really does feel like, if you keep up with any news source, there's one narrative being pushed: fear. I feel like the whole point of today was people coming together in defiance of that feeling of fear. Now, I'm trying not to give my opinion on this whole protest. I like to think I view these important conversations with more nuance than what can be shared in a 10-minute YouTube video online or by a catchy chant in the street. But I do really believe we need to be critical of our leaders. They are responsible for so many lives. Like, it is really hard to grasp how many people the leaders in this country oversee. And one person cannot govern this country. It's complicated, it's messy, and it's never going to be perfect. Leaders will make mistakes, but no one, I mean no one, should be in a position of power making decisions that affect millions of people and not expect criticism. It is part of the burden of leadership. It is a responsibility no one should take lightly. And protests are truly the embodiment of a unified group of people coming together to criticize their leadership. Now, with this understanding, and after seeing firsthand how organized, intentional, and peaceful much of the protest was, I still couldn't help but feel a sense of unease from such a large crowd. Now, very quickly, me and my partner Rob were able to identify one of our biggest sources of unease. It was just a few individuals with megaphones sharing confidently claims that we could not verify. Rob and I like to think we stay relatively informed, but at one point it felt like facts were being stretched or even invented to provoke an emotional reaction. We literally had to double check with each other and Google and search to see if there was any missed news on some of their bolder claims, or maybe if we could even find what source they could be misrepresenting, we could understand how they got to their conclusion. But we could not confirm if what was being said was fact or fiction. What makes it so concerning is just speaking with this passion on unverified information to such a large group of passionate, frustrated individuals could drive people over the edge. Even though we knew we could not verify, the facts sounded so concerning if true, but once again, we could not find anything to support such confidence in what was being said, which just really added to our overall unease. As the protest went on, it just became even more apparent how on edge and frustrated some of the people were, and it kept coming out in unproductive ways. We saw a lot of individuals flipping off officers and walking up to them with rude signs or just clearly trying to provoke a reaction. We were really happy to see law enforcement maintain a calm and collected front. However, one of the most tense moments between law enforcement and protesters came when the protest grew so large, it started spilling uncontrollably into the street. It literally started to block traffic. We could not get past the wall of people. There was just nowhere for people to go. It really could have easily escalated as law enforcement was trying to desperately clear the road. Other protesters couldn't figure out what the the current situation was with police and this large group of people, and they slowly began to surround the officers. Fortunately, the protest organizers and the police worked together to de-escalate the situation, which felt really good to see. I never thought about how terrified I would be standing in front of 2,000 people who, from their perspective, could see me as a symbol for everything they are protesting against. If I'm literally being paid to keep this situation from devolving and I have to stay calm even with thousands of people screaming in my face, like, that has to be the most stressful fucking job. Like, I think that was probably the closest the protest came to getting out of hand. Like, I definitely couldn't do that job, and I can't imagine trying to do that job and having a bad day, or any of the above, because those officers are people. As the crowd enclosed on them, and some of the protesters weren't listening to the protest organizers trying to get everybody back on the sidewalk, it just, cooler heads prevailed, and that was awesome to see, and everybody was unified on that. So I really have to shout out law enforcement. That was amazing. And they were immediately proactive in shutting down the entire street for the next few blocks. They made crazy calls, or they had the plan in place, but within 15 minutes of them clearing the street, they made sure the protests had room to expand and to accommodate all these people. They were anticipating maybe 1,000 people, and several thousand people showed up, which is awesome. Like, super cool that so many people are passionate and believe in the same thing. But after that, we saw the occasional group of protesters confront police a little rudely, but a majority of protesters were thankful for law enforcement being there. A lot of just checking in on one another, making sure we were staying hydrated because it was 100 degrees out in Florida, just miserable. Everybody kind of was checking in on one another. It didn't matter. And I will not forget one young officer was being asked how she was doing, how she was feeling by the protesters, and she replied with, "I support and appreciate you all protesting. I want you to know I'm here to protect your right to do so, and I hope you guys have a great day." And just, it was genuine. It came from the heart when she addressed them, and it was really heartwarming. We had great conversations with the officers. They're doing a job. And it was really nice to see a lot of protest organizers and everybody just trying to make sure that it stayed peaceful and pleasant, even with the enormous amount of people who showed up. As we continued to walk with the protesters, we did notice some employees of the businesses on the street, like, literally got trapped at their place of work, completely caught off guard by the sheer number of people keeping them from just, being able to go home. We took some time to talk to them, and it was pretty heartwarming, their optimistic view and support of the protesters. I know personally I would be so mad in that moment. Like, I get done with work and I just want to go home, but no, these young kids were super excited to kind of see and get off work and be part of this community, and it was cool. People care and they want to see the best future possible. I'm gonna take that away, and that's pretty cool. Honestly though, for the most part, this protest was boring, and that's a good thing. It means it was peaceful, and the optimist in me likes to believe that this brings attention to the frustration that people in this country have, to the leaders, to the would-be leaders. And it states that we, the people, ordinary folks, united, are watching, listening, and holding them accountable. Because at its core, democracy isn't about kings or rulers making decisions behind closed doors. It's about all of us coming together, speaking up, and demanding a government that serves the many, not the few. As the Constitution reminds us, in its opening words, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. This protest, this gathering of voices, frustrations, hopes, and demands, is part of that ongoing effort to build a more just and accountable society. No kings, no unchecked power, just people standing together, insisting that their voice matters. Regardless of what part of the political spectrum you fall under, this message holds true. It is the responsibility of all citizens to stay engaged, to hold their leaders accountable, and to work together towards solutions that respect our shared values of freedom, justice, and opportunity for everyone. I really love the opportunity to go out and photograph and film this protest, and I really do like seeing so many people engaging with one another and feeling so passionately about a like-minded vision for the future. Tried to keep this as neutral as possible. If you guys want more of an opinion from me, then maybe we get in a room and we have a nuanced conversation about it, and I get to listen to your perspective, you can listen to mine. If you feel like I said something that aligned with you, let me know. This was it. This was the protests. It wasn't as crazy as some places may seem. I don't know. I just know that if I didn't go out there and I didn't go out to where my community was gathering and see it for myself, yeah, this is what I did today. If you guys normally watch the vlogs, those will be back tomorrow. But really hoping everybody has a great day, and thank you all for watching.